In this lesson, we're going to talk about versioning your application. You've created your application, you're very happy with it, you've tested it in all sorts of different scenarios and it works great, and you're really excited and you want to distribute it. So now you're ready to version it and create the release build. It's really simple to do, and we'll just go through it real quickly, and we'll explain the difference between a debug and a release build. Setting the version is not very complicated at all. You double-click the properties for the application, and you can see we're using our fragments application that we did a few lessons ago. And you type in your version name. It's really a version code or a version number, but Visual Studio has used version name, and they wish to be consistent there. You'll note I've typed in 1000, and that's typically a major version number, a minor version number, a bug fix number, and a build number. In building your release app, fairly obviously you need to change your configuration to release. But let's build it in debug, and then build it in release, and we can take a look at the differences. This is my solution folder, and if I drill down into the bin and take a look at the debug, I've created a package that's about 131K. And there's actually two packages, and one says it's signed, and it's 133. We'll talk about that signed business in just a second. If I go and take a look at the release version, well, it's over 6 meg. So that's a little bit different than what you might have expected. Normally a debug version is actually bigger than a release version because it carries debug information with it. So that's a little interesting. So what's going on is that a debug version does not include the Mono framework. But you don't really want your user to have to install Mono as a separate install. So the release version includes the Mono framework along with it. So as you can see, you've got close to 6 meg worth of framework that is distributed along with your application. The debug version uses a shared runtime instead of carrying its own. Now about this signed business. In order to distribute an application for testing on a device without running it in debug, you need to sign the application. As a convenience, the Mono framework creates a signed package for us that can be distributed for test. But this uses the Mono framework debug signature, and it's not what you want to use for a real release or distribution. So if you're going to distribute to testers in a test program and not for publication, then you can use this signed package. So let's see how to build that package. Simply off of the build menu, we select package fragments for Android, and it creates an Android package. And we run that, and in just a little bit it tells us that our package has successfully built. And indeed, I have a new package. So now I have a release package that I'm ready to publish. But there's still one more step, and we'll talk about that in the next lesson.